Well, good morning. We're headed back to the field today. We're gonna try and have a really big day planting today. I'm gonna put as many acres of soybeans in the ground as I can, and hopefully that's a lot of them. As long as we don't have any breakdowns, I'm set up. I've got lots of dry ground in front of me and lots of seed that I can have in the ground. So as long as all goes well and everything cooperates, should have a pretty good day today. But I don't know, we'll see. On the road though. I hope that's enough seed to fill the planter, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of have my doubts. Well, one way to find out. All right, we've made it. Planter's full, field view's open. Spotify is playing in the background, which you guys can't hear because copyright and all that fun stuff, but good playlist, good planter, it's full, good field, life's good. Let's get some beans in the ground today. It's only 9:30 too, so we got a long day ahead of us. All right, well, we got our first field here done. The problem is this farm, you can kind of see the outlines of it in the blue line. It's pretty cut up and split up, so we're on back there now. I'm gonna try and get back there without folding up the planter, but we'll see. It may be easier, it actually might be easier on the planter to try and get back there without it folded up than with it folded up, because without it being folded up, it's on 6 tires, but when it's folded, it's only on 4, and it's pretty rough getting back there. So I feel like if I can, I don't know if that's better on it or not, but it's also full, and when it's full and it's loaded like that and bouncing, I just know it's not good on it. So hopefully we make it back there with the planter in one piece, but it's a little rough getting back to these other fields. We should get it though, we'll just take it nice and slow. Back here in the back, we've got these little patches about planted. I got one more after this, and we'll be across the road on the other side of this farm, and we'll go from there. I'm not really using my auto steer because honestly, I've planted without it for years, and these little patches, it's more of a pain to set an AB line than it is to just use your markers. So that's what I've been doing, is just using my markers instead. I don't really see a problem with that. I'm planting fairly straight. I always have planted fairly straight, just using markers. So that's what we're doing. We've got our old school ways and new school tech in here, but I don't know, it just kind of seems stupid to set an AB line for something that's this small. So anyhow, we're plugging right along at it. We got about 30 acres left on this farm. Now you can see all these patches I got planted back here. So this is a little bit of an odd shaped farm, but we got it all done, so we're folded up and we're headed across the road, and we'll get that planted over there. I think that's like 30 acres or so. It says I've got 90 done, and I think there's right at 120 here, so that should come out about perfect with what we thought it was. So we're gonna snake through these little trails here and get back out to the road and hammer down again. That was about perfect timing. Seed man's here, Mr. Nathan Small himself, in the flesh. If you ever need any Pioneer products or seed chemical, whatever you want, look the guy up, give him a call. He's been excellent to deal with. We had an important meeting and solved some of the world's problems for about 5 minutes at least. He's got me loaded up with probably enough seed to make it till tomorrow morning. He brought 90 units, so just 2 boxes. But between that and what I already have in bags at home, that should get me going for quite a while. So we're gonna keep Keep her moving. Well, there goes a tractor, so it's nice to know I'm not the only crazy one out trying to plant beans in the beginning of April. I actually know several people that are right now, but it's the first other person I've seen in the neighborhood. There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here at all. Just a guy that's too lazy to fold his planter because he's going from that field to this field up here. So it's not that highly traveled of a road, so we're just gonna take it easy and not smack any power line poles with it. Got another one done. Out of all the state ground I've got, all these little bitty teeny tiny fields, we got the first one done. It was not very big, like 12 acres if that. Had one heck of a washout ditch down through here. I don't know if you can kind of see it there, but so that one's planted and all of that's planted. So next we're going right here. So we'll make that our active field. And we are planting a Pioneer 35T15E. I love the naming systems. They couldn't make it simple, could they? So we've changed our field. That's now our active field. We're folded up and we're ready to go. Well, I'm waiting on seed to show up. A friend of mine's bringing the seed tender to me. But while we're here, this field's got a little bit of a side-to-side comparison to it. You can kind of see some strips out there where there's some cereal rye. It's kind of playing around with some stuff there, but it's a little bit wet yet, but not terrible at all. We are closing the seed trench really well. Dirt's pretty crumbly. I mean, this stuff is no-till, so obviously it's a little wetter than what's been worked, but it's planting really nicely. Putting them about 1 inch deep, and we'll dig around here and find a few. There's one right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Right there. So about 1 inch deep. So that's where I like to put most of my beans. It's about perfect, it seems like. At least for me, it seems like it has been. But that's what we're doing. I'm just kind of out checking the job the planter's doing. You can see this is the copperhead closing wheel. This is the rubber closing wheel. I'm really tempted to put 2 copperheads on every row. But having one on each side seems to be doing a pretty good job. So happy with the job it's doing. And yeah, little 10-acre field here, but it is nice and square, so should knock this one out fairly quickly. We're just waiting on seed. There's a beautiful sight right there. The seed man is here. Just look at him. He don't know what to do with all that big truck. We're only going to be able to fill the boxes about half full because there's not enough in that wagon to get them completely full. That just means we planted a lot of beans today. So the seed man's leaving. What he's actually been doing all day, other than running me seed, is he's been fixing all the stuff that I've tore up. The reel disc had 3 bearings out, 2 on the rolling basket, 1 on the actual reel disc. So he is currently getting them fixed and doing some welding on a harrow, and which I didn't break all that. He's been running it too, but I don't know who broke what, but it's just bearings. And before the grease police jump on me, yes, it gets greased every day. So, and no, it doesn't get over greased either. I only give it like 5 pumps a day. But I don't know, shit happens. That thing's been over a lot of acres, so it doesn't really surprise me that it has a few bearings out, and a lot of the acres it's been over has been reclaimed ground and really rough, rocky ground, so I can't really complain. That's just part of running something over a lot of acres. But we're back. We're full-ish. We're like 2/3 full, half full, somewhere along there. So we're gonna plant maybe 30 acres or so, and then he's bringing me some bags of beans, which make me want to throw up, because I'm a bulk fill bean kind of guy. I'm not a fan of throwing bags if I don't have to, but they're from another company other than Pioneer. They're actually Cropland, so I'm gonna try some of them out this year. Not a lot of them, but I have a buddy that's selling some, so I figure I'll give them a try. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm planting end-rows along the woods here, so I'm gonna put you guys down, that way I don't smack the planter off a tree, because, well, that'd be a bad day, and it's too early in the planting season to start doing crap like that. Anywho, we're planting. Another one bites the dust. On to the next one. Hammering some acres today. We're probably crossing that 150 acre mark. I would say that I'll get about 200 acres planted today if I'm lucky. The sun's not down yet, so we're gonna go open up the next field. It's about 50 acres, and then there's one 50 acres straight across the road from it. They're both going in soybeans, so should knock them out fairly quickly. I doubt we get both of them done tonight, but we're gonna make a dent in them at least. Moving down. Well, we got this little patch done. It's 3 acres or so. It's, I don't even know if it's that actually, but it's kind of a pain in the butt because the main farm is on the other side of that tree line, and there's a creek that splits it, but it's not too terrible to get into, and it was actually on my way anyhow, so I zipped in there and planted it real quick. The bottom end was a little bit heavy, but not awful. So last year the bottom end didn't really make anything anyhow. It had corn in it, and between the deer and the raccoons there wasn't much left of it, but maybe with soybeans it'll do a little bit better. I don't know. But we're headed to the other side of it now. We'll go get it planted too. Unfolding. Next field it is. Unfortunately, we're about to have to throw a bunch of bags in this planter, so that's gonna take a second, but I might throw up a time lapse or something while we do that and make it entertaining for you guys at least, because it ain't gonna be entertaining for me, I can promise that. Drop it down. I think it went. Yep. All right. We'll get backed into the corner here. It's not gonna be long. We're gonna have to have the lights on. It's getting dark, and it's getting dark quick. Get backed into the corner here, undo our wing lock, and we will be ready to rock. Set it down. We actually may not be quite. Yeah, we are. Okay, never mind. Sometimes this thing doesn't quite seat like it's supposed to, and I'll try and explain that better some other time when I'm actually out of the tractor, but basically there's rollers and rails that planter, when it rotates around, it basically locks itself in for field transport. And it doesn't always like to hit them just right, so anyhow, pick you guys up. Yes, we are finished with current field. I forgot to switch it last time. Create new field, continue, no, yes, no, map. Okay, now we're good to go. And you can see our little tractor man right there. He's taking off with us and painting lines, so everything's good. We're ready to plant. I don't know who made me think this was a good idea to get beans in a bag, but I'm out of shape. It sucks carrying all these things. There's a bunch of them. Time to dump them. I ran home, grabbed a bite to eat, grabbed something to drink, and we are back with the seed tender. All we got to do is throw the lids back on the boxes, and I also grabbed a lighter to burn all the bags. That's normally what I do with these paper bags. It's not worth letting them blow out of the pickup, so grab the lighter. We'll get those burnt and see what we can't tear up tonight. Hopefully just putting beans in the ground, not tearing stuff up. But pickups got quite the load behind it. I think we got 5 boxes in it right now, so plenty of beans to get us through the night. All the lids on. Fire 1 started there, and maybe fire 2 started here. That's a good way to set the bags on fire. It's time to roll. No time to sit by the campfire. Well, I do believe this is the last round for the day. We got most of this field knocked out, but we're gonna do the rest in the morning. I've got several washout ditches to plant around and really don't feel like doing that tonight, and the planter's about empty, so we'll fill that up in the morning, give it a good greasing, give it a good looking over, and probably put a couple 100 acres in the ground tomorrow too. But I really want to give the planter a good inspection in the morning, give it a good service in the morning, since it's done several 100 acres today. So I really hate to push things too hard without looking them over. I don't like to go over too many acres, because if there is an issue and you don't know it, you screw up a lot of acres. So as you can see, we've got 32 acres done, about 15 to go. So there you have it. We're making progress at least. But planter's done a pretty good job today. We've planted everything from white reclaimed ground to black muck and yellow clay, so been a little bit everywhere with it today. But I'm ready to go home, so we're gonna shut everything down here, and we're gonna call it a night. So that's probably gonna be the end of this video, but I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully it wasn't too boring just watching the tractor go back and forth, but yeah, we'll hit it hard again tomorrow. Good morning. We are getting ready to service the planter and the tractor, fill it up with seed, check it over. Then we're gonna do some more planting today, but I might call it an early day planting. Just finish this field and end up going and spraying, because I've got some fields like that one over there that are looking pretty woolly, and I really think it's time to get the sprayer out and do some of that. So we may do that today, I don't know. Just kind of gonna not hit it too terribly hard with the planter today, seeing as I do have a lot of soybeans in the ground and there's really no rush to get many more in. So not at the moment. It's still plenty early, but I don't know, they're going in the ground good, so we're just kind of gonna see how it goes today, kind of play it by ear. We've got a chance of rain tomorrow, so it's not for a lot. It's less than a ½ inch, but honestly we could use it. So yeah, we're gonna get the planter taken care of here and we'll kind of go from there. Last night I was planting along the edge of the woods and I kicked up a stick that went right through the fiberglass box, so we're gonna attempt to fix that. We've got some stuff here for that. It's actually for a hose, but surely it'll work for fiberglass, but we're about to find out. It's in here somewhere. Anywho, let's see what we can't make happen here. Schaefer's chain lube, Schaefer's grease. It's not cheap, but I also don't have many bearings go out. Well, I don't know that we're gonna be planting now. While I was greasing the planter, I found something. I found that crack. That's not a good crack. That's not supposed to be there. So I'm gonna call somebody with a welder, because I don't have a portable welder. Well, I do, but not big enough to do something like that. And I really don't want to drive it home like that, because all the weight when this thing's in transport mode is gonna be right there. So there's your transport tires, there's your crack. Probably best that we do not drive it right now. Now another thing I'm looking for in the mornings is kind of just walking behind in the light of day and seeing the job the planter's doing. See right here, there's some beans on top of the ground, and it almost looked like it was dragging something down through this row. Sure enough, go over to that row, start wiggling things around. There's a bearing out on one of the openers, so we're just gonna replace the whole opener. But yeah, things like that. I like to walk around every morning and just make sure everything's all good. Ideally it wouldn't be covered in mud, but that's part of that reclaimed ground. It was bone dry, yet had mud holes. 98% of it will be hard as a rock, and the other 2% does not drain and just pools up with water, and the ground's so hard that the water can't go down. So it's just kind of the nature of the beast over there, but that's why it's muddy. This planted really well though. You can see the ground has just enough moisture here, but it's still pretty crumbly, but it's got moisture to it. I mean, you definitely can't ball this up really. So I'd say that's about perfect. Unfortunately, till we get this planter welded, I don't think we're gonna be doing any planting. And I just called the guy and he thinks he's a couple hours out, so that's fine. At least he can get here today. I'm not gonna complain. So we'll get this thing ready to go as good as we can get it, and then we'll go do some spraying or something. So that's the plan today now. Yeah, typically when you can see the balls in the ball bearing and you can do this with it, it's typically out. Yeah, I'm gonna say that one's done for. Luckily we got shiny new ones. Now just a word to Wise. So we're gonna replace both sides on this row just because we're already here, but word to the Wise here. You hear righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Well, these are left-hand threads. And I know that because once upon a time I found out the hard way, because I was sitting here hammering on one with an impact, thinking that I was loosening it. I was tightening it. It got loose eventually, but the threads were gone. And I got to buy the whole new shank here. So, word to the Wise if you're ever working on a planter. One side's right-handed thread and one side's left-handed thread. I learned the hard way, so you didn't have to. Well, the more I got messing around on the planter, the more of them I found that were bad. That one was bad. That one was bad. That one. These and that one which come to realize that's the outside 4 rows here, and I got to thinking about why those would all be bad, and I might have caught that yesterday. I was crossing a low water crossing, and I almost wonder if I caught these when the planter was folded up and took the bearings out on them. I don't know that I did, I don't think that I did, but it's just odd that 4 of them in a row like that were out. I don't know. The rest of them on the planter seemed fine. It was just these front 4 rows, so I don't know. Something's weird, but hopefully we'll figure it out sometime, or hopefully that fixes it and we don't have anything to figure out, but we'll see. Well, good morning or afternoon, whatever it is now. We had some light showers this morning, but as you can tell by the dust behind me, not too bad. I ran the tractor and planter home late last night. I actually forgot to grab my camera, so I didn't record much yesterday, but got about 50 acres sprayed yesterday. It was kind of my first go with the sprayer, first real spraying that I've done with it, at least, and everything worked good. Then I planted about 100 acres yesterday too, and we're going to finish up maybe 10 acres or so that's left in one field, and then after that I'm gonna head over to another little 15-acre field, and then I'm undecided whether I'm gonna spray this afternoon or if I'm gonna run the planter. So I don't know. We've got rain coming in tonight, so I'm almost thinking that I'll just run the planter, and then if it rains tonight I can spray tomorrow, but I don't know. Just kind of gonna play it by ear and kind of see what the weather's shaping up to be here later this afternoon, and kind of make my decisions based on that. So we're getting ready to pull back in the field. We got this one over here done, and then this one over here is all but done. I actually ran out of seed last night and had to run it home, so and I had a couple little minor things on the planter I wanted to take care of too, so I actually brought it in the shop this morning and was doing some work to it, but it's ready to go now, and it's time to get back in the field and get something done today. We're planting into nature's cover crop today, winter annuals, which is why we're probably going to run the sprayer this afternoon. This stuff's getting pretty woolly, but I'm pretty confident that I can kill it too, so it's not out of control and it's not too big. It's just kind of thick, but most of this stuff 2,4-D will knock right out, no problem. So probably come in here and spray this since we've got it planted now. I really hated to spray it before I planted it, or right before I planted it at least. I'd rather run the sprayer right behind the planter than right in front of it, just because you're kind of smushing all that herbicide into the ground. I don't know that it makes any difference, but to me, I would just it's personal preference, I guess, rather spray after the fact, but I don't know, that's just me. Really, it should have been sprayed 2 weeks ago, but it was too cold and too muddy then, so it didn't get done. Anyhow, setting GPS. It is very, very nice planting with auto steer. When it cooperates, it's nice when it cooperates, but planting away. I've been running about 6 mile an hour, 6.5 maybe, but it's planting pretty good, so can't complain. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the neighbor's running over there, so we're not the only ones stupid enough to be planting right now in front of a rain. I feel better when I see somebody else running like that, which I think there's several guys planting today, but got a couple more rounds left and then we'll be done with this field. So wasn't a whole lot left here, but we got her done. We got one more done. So little 15-acre field here. There's a couple mud holes I didn't get to plant, but this is the driest that creek bottom's been in a long time. I just pulled up my radar on the phone, and as you can see, it's trying to start raining. So we're gonna run up to the shop and close the shop. There's pop-up showers coming out of nowhere, but we're gonna close the shop up just because I got a bunch of seed corn sitting in there. I don't want to get wet. The shop's just right over there. But I think it's best we just try and plant today and not do any spraying, because I hate to go spray and then turn around and have to respray something. So I think we're better off just to keep planting. Well, on second thought, maybe we won't do any more planting today. It's pouring down rain. So maybe scratch that. I don't know. Well, it's looking like it's gonna rain quite a bit tonight, so I really hate to put beans in the ground right before a hard rain. And I really hate to spray before a hard rain, so there's only one thing left to do, and that's go tear up some ground before the rain. Got a little chunk of ground that was ripped and super unlevel still. I'm gonna go level that up just so hopefully it dries a little quicker after the rain, and then I don't know, I've got a few fields that I might try and work instead of burning down with the sprayer, because the weeds aren't really that bad, and if I can just knock them back a couple weeks, I'll be post-emerge spraying them anyhow, so really no sense in spraying them twice if I don't have to. So diesel fuel's up right now, but it's still cheaper than running the sprayer across the ground, so it's probably what I'm gonna do. Anyhow, you'll see when we get to the field. Well, we're turning green to brown. It's actually working up quite nicely. We're pulling this landau about 8 miles an hour right now. And honestly, this tractor really doesn't know what's back there, but the tool's not really bouncing, so I guess that we can go that fast. I mean, as long as the tool's not bouncing, I'm all right with it, but working up pretty nicely. Taking the weeds out too for the most part, so I don't think that I'll probably end up spraying this until after it's planted, but this is a quick way and a cheap way to do that. It's not near as effective as the sprayer, but it still works nonetheless, and it's leveling this field up. There's several little ruts and washouts. This field hadn't been worked in a few years, I don't think, so it's not gonna hurt a thing. But anywho, that's what we're doing. Things are about to get interesting. We're gonna pull over and let each other through. Not one, but two 9620 quad tracks. I think they're pulling like 45 or 50 foot turbo tills. They knocked out some acreage today, I'm sure. A little more than I did, but that's all right. Sharp tractors. This is some more of that ground that I've ripped. It's actually the last of it that I ripped that hasn't been worked. You can see it's getting pretty green, but we're turning it into a pretty nice seed bed, so we'll let the rain pound on this a little bit and kind of crust it over and have a nice stale seed bed to plant right into. Honestly, that's my favorite type of ground to plant, is ground that's been worked and then got rained on, and kind of crusted over. It just seems like that works really well. I really like doing that, but I need to quit running this tractor. If I keep running it, I'm gonna end up buying it. So I like it, but I also know that tractors don't really make you money. Planters, combines, and sprayers do, so I don't know. Although I do like it, it rides rough, but it rides rough because I ripped this and the field's rougher and I'll get out. But it may ride a little rough, but I do like it. It's quiet, it's comfortable. It's got some more bells and whistles on it, but bells and whistles don't pay the bills, and yes, corn's $5 and I'm making decent money this year, but the thing is, I'd rather put that money back and kind of use it in a year that's not so great, or invest it into land or infrastructure like grain bins or something like that. I think the money would be a little better spent there than in a tractor. So I don't know what I'll replace this with yet. It's still leased right now just to get me through this spring, but we'll kind of go from there and see what ends up happening. I don't know, I'm not ruling out buying this tractor, but I don't know. I can't make myself spend that much money on something that's not really gonna make it back for me. I just don't think it's a great business decision, although I like it. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on it right now. We'll see. I'd say newer tractors like this, just, I don't know, it doesn't quite fit the operation quite yet, but feasibly I could do it. But like I said, I just think I could spend the money a lot better elsewhere than on this tractor. So I don't know, undecided, but still pondering it. One day I think I'm gonna buy it, the next day I don't. So we got one little pass here left and then we are done here. We'll get out of here. So I think we're gonna beat the rain just in time and get home to get the shop closed up and get a few hours of sleep and wake up in the morning and see how much rain we got. So one more pass and we're out of here.